When we talk about the busiest airports in the world, it's hard not to talk about the issue of congestion. In June 2025, Chicago O'Hare ranked as the world's busiest airport by daily aircraft movements. But even though O'Hare flexes 8 runways, 3 of which can simultaneously be used for departures, congestion is always an inevitable nuisance. And it's especially annoying to those passengers on short regional jet flights because usually they'll spend more time waiting to take off than they'll spend in the air. Today, I am one of those passengers. So let's talk more about the issue of airport congestion and O'Hare's position as one of the world's busiest as we fly from Chicago to Peoria, Illinois. Good evening from O'Hare's tunnel of lights that connects Terminal 1's concourses C and B. After arriving at C9 from Washington, I've got just under an hour to make it over to Terminal 2 for my final flight to Peoria. Now, unlike a few days earlier, my connection between these terminals today is a lot more relaxed, and I was in Terminal 2 within 10 minutes. Ever since Delta moved out 3 years ago, Terminal 2 is overwhelmingly United, with the exception of 2 gates for Alaska Airlines. United Express currently flies 4 times a day between Chicago and Peoria. At the time of this flight, the Embraer 175 operated 2 of those flights, but sadly, as of July 2025, all flights are now on CRJ 200s. But I have to say, what a great feeling it was boarding a regional jet and knowing that I wouldn't have to gate check my roller bag. United Express configures the 175 with either 70 or 76 seats. Our aircraft is one of the 76-seaters with 12 seats in first class and 64 in economy, 12 of which are economy plus. Now, United Express has over 230 of these 175s, and they're operated under Republic Airways, SkyWest, and Mesa Airlines. Today, we're on a Republic 175, but regardless, all of United's 175s have the same seats. Sanitizing wipes weren't handed out during boarding, but shoot, this one in the seat pocket was unopened, so a win's a win. Now, legroom on the 175s is fantastic, but that comes at a real cost. This is going to be controversial, but in my experience, United's 175s have among the most uncomfortable seats of any regional jets. As you can see, while there is some padding, the seats are overall rock solid, especially where you place your head. And while it's no problem for a short 30-minute flight, these planes are used on flights as long as 3 hours, like Chicago to Spokane, which I can imagine would be uncomfortable, especially if your seat recline button is broken, like mine is here. In June 2025, O'Hare recorded around 2,442 aircraft movements every day, the most of any airport in the world. And that's still not up to pre-pandemic levels because in June 2019, O'Hare's daily aircraft movements totaled 2,616. Now yes, while Atlanta remains the world's busiest airport by passengers and seats for sale, O'Hare is currently the busiest by daily movements because at least in June, it saw almost 200 more daily movements than Atlanta. Now that mainly comes down to the dominance of United and American Airlines, who combined for 85% of those 2,442 operations in June. Not only that, but these airlines also operate huge regional jet hubs in Chicago, which also contribute to O'Hare being so busy. O'Hare also has 35 international airlines, and the hub carriers themselves have a lot more long-haul services these days. While most of Americans' long-haul routes are summer seasonal, many new routes have started this summer, like this one to Naples, Italy. Now, unfortunately, with so many daily flights, congestion becomes a lot more apparent. And while O'Hare can use up to 3 runways at once for departures under certain conditions, the convoluted nature of the taxiways and the terminals aren't necessarily conducive to super efficient operations. Chicago-Peoria is a 35-minute flight on a bad day. Today's flight was just 27 minutes. But still, airlines account for ground delays when publishing their schedules. Even though this flight is just 30 or so minutes in reality, it's advertised at around an hour 10 minutes. Now, the time spent waiting to take off at O'Hare definitely varies based on time of day, but the evening hours are especially busy. Tonight, it took 32 minutes from leaving the gate to reaching the runway, one of the longest wait times I've experienced at O'Hare. How crazy is it that we spent more time on the ground than we would in the air? Our approach this evening brought us in from the northeast alongside the Illinois River. For whatever reason, we made a little S-turn before coming past downtown Peoria for landing on runway 22. And welcome to Peoria after a beautiful sunset flight. I definitely missed out on the city views on landing, but I think those sunset views were a nice trade-off. Now going back to what I said earlier about United's Embraer 175, yeah, it's not the most comfortable plane, and I would definitely avoid it on flights longer than an hour. But would I fly American Eagle's Embraer 175 on 2 to 3 hour runs? Oh yeah, respectfully, American seats on these planes are a little more comfortable than United's. But I'm not going to say too much else in that regard because it was a pleasant flight this evening. Now this was definitely a first. As we were pulling up to the terminal, I noticed all of these emergency vehicles surrounding this Allegiant A320. This was supposed to be the 7 p.m. flight to Destin, but ultimately didn't depart until 10 a.m. the next morning. Maybe it was a fuel leak or something, but if anybody knows for sure what could have happened, leave me a comment below.
Welcome to Peoria, everyone. We're just a little bit short of the gate, just waiting for the ground crew to come down up and get in position. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. We'll be moving forward shortly.
And just like that, we're off the plane and ready to drive home. I hope you enjoyed today's video and thank you for sticking around until the end. Until next time, take care and see you soon.